That's okay.
That's okay. I do know that the new Pumani estate, that's the next, right? I don't think from the briefing that I have, there is a regeneration that is going on. I don't think so. But because they're in the Senate, this is their house, I'll give the chairperson, perhaps just to highlight on some of the issues that you might also be having, related or unrelated, and then you'll allow me to give the governor opportunity to. There's a lot of things that have been raised. Then the governor, I'll give you the opportunity, governor, to respond to some of the issues that you might see fit, and then we as Senate will give you some resolutions to take home. Which estate are you from?
From Jericho, but we have one very important question to the governor that has not been mentioned.
I'm coming back to you. Let me just finish with
Thank you.
With New Pumani. New Pumani, I'm going to give you half the time. Just 5 minutes, kindly.
Okay, thank you so much. And I beg for your indulgence to the esteemed House Committee and the Executive.
Just a minute. Sam, kindly switch off your mic.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Now, in respect to, Jackson Lee Muturi Kimani, the Chairperson, California State Residence Committee, New Pumani Estate. In respect to New Pumani Estate, it's more so to do with the petition that we raised in the year 2023 to the attention and to the office of the executive, that is the governor. Now, it's best that we understand why and how we were informed to take that course of action. The issue of redevelopment, as rightly pointed out, started in the year 2018. And New Pumani Estate was among the estates that were earmarked back then. That was under Rail Plan Consultants. We underwent a very comprehensive 2-year consultative forum with the Rail Plan Consultants. That was a public participation. And there is a document, a very voluminous document that was published in the year 2019 with a report and the findings and the conclusion in respect to New Pumani Estate. If you'll give me time, I'll just read an excerpt of, it is a final plan report, Urban Renewal Plan, Volume 2, that was submitted in the 19th of September 2019. In respect to New Pumani Estate, the proposed land use for New Pumani largely retains the existing land use structure. The housing developments in New Pumani are being retained. The proposed redevelopment approach is thus renovation. And we were comfortable with that findings, and we were comfortable with that conclusion, and there was no issue. But we were taken aback when in the year 2021, we just came across an advert published by the then Nairobi Metropolitan Services indicating that California is part of the urban regeneration program, and we are scheduled to have a public participation meeting on the 17th of February 2021, Pumani Social Hall. We were taken aback because there is a document which is freely downloadable, which was even tabled in the Nairobi City County Assembly back then. So we said, no harm, let us go and find out what is going on. There was no public participation. We were just informed. Go prepare yourself, we are coming to redevelop. So the course of action we took at that time, we wrote several objection letters to several ministries, and I think I was able to submit most of those copies to this esteemed house back then when we were having this session. Now, it was like bulldozing this agenda. And the questions we are asking, what was the purpose and intention of having a comprehensive 2-year public participation forum, not just engaging the entity, but a consultant? And I'm sure a consultant is not just Penimbili. Those people are paid a lot of money. Now, out of these fears, whereby we have evidence that they are attempting to redevelop California, but we don't have any evidence that New Pumani Estate, California, has been removed from that listing up to date. I'm surprised that during the presentation of the clerk, they stated that they have a document stating that California is no longer under redevelopment, but we, as the affected persons, we don't have such a documentation. So that is what informed us to draft the petition.
Very, very well said.
Yes.
There are two issues
Yes.
that I'm seeing, but I understand as perhaps to chime in on what you've just raised. But there are two issues that I've heard from you. Number one is whether or not you are part of the program.
Yes.
Okay? Governor, you can take note of that. But I also wanted to know whether or not you want to be part of the program. Those are two different things. As an association, you want to establish whether or not you're part of the program, and if so, where are you standing in this understanding? Is it a future engagement and all that? Governor can answer that. But one of the issues that have come from a number of associations, as you have heard here, is also the hesitance of being in part of the program. So from your own view, what is the status report from your residents? Do they feel like this is something that they welcome, but they would want to engage more? Or is there a problem even with the conception of the regeneration program?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Now, to begin with, we are skeptical. We have our own fears, and we raised our own fears, because we asked ourselves, New Pumani Estate, unlike other estates, it has its own challenges. That is the proximity to that military installation, and those were technicalities that knocked out New Pumani Estate from the word go. So we said we cannot sanctify an illegality, because public participation are now used to sanctify illegalities in this Republic of Kenya. So we said we are not going to be part of it. We are not comfortable with this program. The way it is being implemented, you have all these estates have raised issues, and there are issues which have weighty concerns. And we asked ourselves, if a consultant certified that these buildings, they're fairly modern. Number two, these buildings, according to the architect, they say that optimum land use has been done to the maximum. Number three, if it in terms of the structure, they are very sound, more than any other estate that Nairobi City County government owns in this Nairobi City County. Number four, and they are very, the report said fairly modern, which means they all require renovation. Recently, in the year 2017, they were repainted. Just that one factor of being repainted, they almost looked new. So that's why we said, why don't we then own? We don't want to own them for free, because we don't want to affect, there's that, the financial aspect of the financial bill with the county government. If you do something that will be contrary to, which will affect their budget making processes, it will be negative to us. So we said, why don't we now then convert the existing rent? We don't backdate. Existing rent, we start a new chapter, convert it into mortgage, convert it into TPS. They have the enabling legislation, because in New Pumani Estate, we have TPS flats, which are intertwined.
So you want to do that to own in the current status or to own in the development?
No, we own in the current status as they are.
I think your point is home. I want to give senators, if perhaps they have got concern on that. But Governor, there is an issue there of value for money that Kimani, right, is trying to bring out, that there is feasibility studies that have been done. There's a contractor who was engaged. There was 2-year public participation on the renewal of the new Pumani estate. So at what point did it get expunged from this program, and what then becomes of the costs that were incurred in those processes? I think that's a substantive question that you can respond to at that time. What's your name again? Duncan, yes, from Ofafa, right?
Yes, from Ofafa, Jericho.
Ofafa, Jericho.
Yes, and
just literally under 1 minute, because you're pressed of time and I've given you so much time as an estate.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Chair.
Chair, kindly, please. Chair,
Who is talking?
Jackson Kimani. I just had one more issue to raise, please, kindly. I beg for your indulgence. Final,
I'm really pressed of time.
Yes, I understand.
But I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in respect to now the final report that your clerk presented when she was doing the update status, in her records, she has a document which she said is not signed. We went for a meeting. There are no minutes of the meeting. There are no signs. There's no attendance sheet, which says that New Pumani Estate is no longer in the redevelopment. But unfortunately, with me here physically, I have a document that states otherwise. So I'm asking. So
what is the otherwise? What is the otherwise? Just state it. What is the otherwise? Just state it.
There is a document that was drafted by County Secretary and Head of County Public Service, which states that urban renewal will henceforth schedule engagement between the county officers and yourselves through a public participation forum on the redevelopment project, as well as development of projects proposals for request of proposals to eligible and qualified developers. This was done 3rd of September 2024.
Well taken. The committee takes note, and I hope the governor also takes note. Duncan?
Thank you, Chair. My question is to the governor, because at the last session on the 18th of March, he's on the query as to whether they had title to the land of Fajerico, Lumumba, and Maringo. He said they didn't have, but they have a reservation. Now it has been presented to you that we have a dispute with the MCCG at the NLC. So the question comes up: how did they get a reservation that the NLC doesn't know about, yet it is the reserving body as per the Constitution?
Okay.
Then, just to correct Madam CCO, she's saying contractors are the ones who will enable public participation. I want to correct her and inform her to check Section 114 of the County Government Act that expressly states public participation is mandatory for any development of nationally significant value. Any. So it is not for contractors to bring about public participation. It is for them who have the project in hand as the county government to bring the public participation to the people.
Very well.
And just one more.
I give you 1 minute, remember, because
Please,
you know that all the issues that you're raising had actually been raised.
Just one more.
And I noted them from your chair. So they were actually all conversed. In fact, if I'm fair, I should actually be giving that a minute to a lady.
Let me just give him the final one. Please be very brief.
Very brief.
Need answers.
Very brief. There is because of lack of public participation, we don't have MOUs, we don't have anything. Okay. So we must start from there.
Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you.
I think it would be very unfair for these residential representatives to come here and the amazing ladies who have come with you, and I've just listened to all your leadership being men. I want to give an opportunity to any lady who is among the residentials who might have a word or two or a concern to raise before I come back to the governor. I really want to hear Amawana. Yes, I really want at least one voice to be represented. But at least I gave the opportunity.
Chair.
Oh, just a moment. Who is that saying chair? Please, go ahead.
Okay, the last time we had a meeting with the county, with the...
You say your name and where?
Sorry, my name is Kezia Kihara. I'm treasurer at the Maringo Tenants Association. So the last time that we had a meeting with the county planning committee, it was resolved that they put forward a name for Varoya, and as we give, but to resolve the issue of ownership, but to date they haven't given the name. Also, Chair, we would like the county or the governor to tell us or to put it clear. Like in Maringo, there was a time Kiboi came and he posted letters on our walls, on our windows, that people to come and present documents to City Hall. And a few people came, and those are the 74. So we are wondering, they called it a public participation. Is that the evaluation of the tenants? Or how are they going to give, okay, they are saying they are going to give us the house or the units. So is that the list that they are going to use? Or so they have the list of the 310 people that that we own the 310 houses in Maringo.
Thank you so much, Kezia, and thank you for representing the voices that really. I'm going to give the governor opportunity to respond to these issues. Governor, try and make it as concise as you can. I know there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of issues that have been raised.
There are many issues.
But I'm giving you the time, and then we'll see how we go from here.
Chair, I've listened to issues for quite a number. They want answers, and it will be wrong for me not to answer what has been raised. Chair, let me start by thanking the residents' associations and the representatives of tenants for this discussion. It's a very important discussion because, Chair, the county government has a mandate to execute what is within its functions in the 4th schedule. And the county government will execute its mandate. So long as it is lawful, the county government will execute its mandate to the people of Nairobi. The first thing I must say, Chair, county property, because I've had somebody saying the issue of trustees, that we're only trustees. It is true. The county government holds all the property in trust for the people. Not the people of Jericho or the people of Woodley, but the people of Nairobi in their entirety. If the people of Nairobi, through their delegated responsibility, want Woodley to become a stadium, all of it, it will become a stadium. Or if they want a change, if there's a different plan, the people of Nairobi, if there are 2,000 more people who want to come and live where there are 20, and it is legal, we have the power to execute that. That we must get very clearly, Chairman. Number two, I've had many questions, and I don't know where Gashago has gone to. He's here. About not having seen me. When we invite you for meetings and you don't come, and it's the same with many of them. I don't know where else we need to be seen, because we've invited these chairs for meetings. I personally invited Jericho for a meeting on the 7th of April to meet me, not anybody else. If I read you the contents of that letter, just open it. The content of the letter is for a public participation forum and engagement with Hechi, the governor. That was the letter we wrote. But, Chair, we have a problem where the leadership of these associations do not want us to associate with the people directly. And you need to know that we can associate with the people directly and also through you. There are tenants. A landlord can engage with the tenant at any time. Chair, that meeting was turned into chaos. The people in this room who came to stop it, there were placards, they brought goons. We just kept quiet. We have sent another letter because, Chair, what they're going to do is to prevent their residents from actually getting what the government is offering. What we're doing is an offer. You know, we're offering that this is what we're going to redevelop this place. You should, partner with us, take this amount of money, go, and then once you're out, when you come back, you'll receive your property. It is not mandatory for us to do that, Chair. It is not at all. If you look at the national projects, people are being given a small amount and with no guarantee at all. You're being given a guarantee and a title and a house, Chair. So I think that magnanimity, or maybe that's the wrong word, but the goodwill being extended by the county government must be responded to, Chair. Chair, the letter was dated 3rd April. To Jericho Estate tenants, each tenant got this letter. As you may be aware, the county intends to redevelop most of the old estates, etc. The governor recognizes your very important role in this process as key stakeholders and invites all tenants of Jericho Estate for public engagement for a Monday, 7th April, Charter Hall. That's an invite. How else, when they keep saying no public participation, how else do you want public participation when you're invited by the governor himself and you don't attend? Yeah? When Agashogo invited Woody residents, you didn't come. Yourself. I don't know how else. Sorry, let me not do that. But
Please, I had cautioned that we don't exchange, and Governor, you know the rules of the House.
So, Chair, there are many instances where we've invited the chairs for engagement, but you've heard very well what one of the chairs has said, that when these committees were formed, the county or NMS then was supposed to engage only through that committee. Chair, that is completely wrong. Even in terms of us as representatives, Article 1 says that the people are represent, the sovereign power is with the people and they can exercise it directly. You cannot then be a group of people blocking us from our tenants and from the residents.
Governor, can I just find out, why not have that meeting in Jericho?
Because people who are not residents of Jericho will come.
I thought the residents are there. If you want to meet directly with them, you go there.
You cannot have a controlled meeting there. And I would ask you to try.
You are a government. I have had a meeting there. I went there when they had kicked out the officers, and we actually had a meeting.
Chair, we can meet them wherever. There, you see, they were kicked out. In fact, when the chair was speaking, he said, we did not allow anybody else from the county government to speak. Chair, City Hall is there also. We can meet them anywhere, Chair, that we deem fit to.
No, I was just following your train of thought about direct engagement. And this is my advice.
You
are a government. You have kicked out people from markets. You have enforcement officers. You can have a meeting in Jericho.
I hear your suggestion, but it's a decision that we have to make.
Okay, it's a recommendation.
It's a recommendation.
I'll be available for that meeting.
We can
invite me.
And Chair, we can find 10,000 people there. It is okay. We will engage. We're also politicians, Chair. We're a government, but we're also very astute politicians in this city. And Chair, for as many people as you hear representing here saying they're not for a project, you have an equal number saying they're for the projects. You have an equal number as those you've called. In fact, if we do another meeting next Tuesday, I can get representatives from the same estates to come and say that they want it to start. So at what point, Chair, does public participation stop and does the government execute? Because if you wait for 100% concurrence on any project, you will not do it. You will never do it. That is by, just generally. If we waited for 100% concurrence on Woodley, we would not have moved. In fact, if there was a need for concurrence in 1949 for these estates to be developed, they would not have been developed. Because there were people there who didn't want it. The people of Nairobi are 7 million people. If they feel a need for housing, 1,000 people in one estate or 200 people will not stop it. So long as it is being done lawfully, Chair, we will go on. Let me go to the specific questions. New Pumani, I've had the petition on the issue. I just want people to understand, when you're a tenant, and the courts have set a precedent, the court has ruled on it, you are a tenant, the landlord can do whatever they deem fit with that property, provided he's doing it within the law. When you talk about county assembly approval, it's a county assembly that has approved all these projects in the CIDP. The county integrated development plan has listed these projects. So the county assembly has approved. Once you approve a budget in Senate, for instance, does the CS come for each and every single project to seek a motion to approve? No. But you've approved the medium-term economic framework, you've approved the budget policy statement, projects are inside the BPS, and that is how it was approved. And they've said they've had engagements even with NMS, even before NMS. So I just want to disabuse the notion of no public participation. The meetings, and there's a schedule here you have in your folders, of 25th, is it 25th February or 25th what? May 2023. It was a public advertisement. It was on all the papers. It was posted in all these estates. If you choose not to attend, you cannot say there was no public participation. And in those public participation meetings, we have the video. We can share video. We can share. Because we have our media team that records those meetings. Even the press comes to those meetings. So you cannot say that public participation will only happen the way you feel it should happen as an individual. The people were very happy. In fact, if you look at our report, we have verbatim what people said word for word in those meetings. The questions that people, please allow.
Just 1 minute, Governor.
Sifuna.
No, just a minute.
May I just request that we let the Governor present.
Just a minute, Chair. Because, Governor, we had been guided that we need to follow the submissions with the documentation you have given us. In fact, I want to refer you to your report, that public participation report. And we had covered this last time, and you had promised to make some corrective measures. I don't want you to feel like I'm interrupting your flow of thought. If you look at the public participation report submitted by yourself in Lumumba, for instance, it is at page 31. of your report on public participation, it is clear what the residents told you, and they say, your own remarks there say the objective for this public participation was not met. Yeah. And if I can run your memory a bit, in the last meeting we had, you made a commitment yourself that you will engage these residents of Lumumba, the residents of Jericho,
yes,
as many times as possible.
Yeah.
So is it really fair from that perspective of your own report to say that there has been effective public participation, at least in Lumumba?
But Chair, I have just explained that I then further invited them for a meeting. Part of what could have caused it not to be effective would have been the venue. But I invited them to come to Charter Hall, and residents came, but they were being stopped by the leadership. They came, but they were being blocked. They were being threatened. Those who would sign the register were being threatened. Chair, let me just tell you, under no uncertain terms, will anyone come in between us and the residents of the city? No one. No one. No individual. No individual. Just because you've been elected as a chair, you're holding that position also in trust for these people. The people who've come directly to us saying, please, we want to sign this thing. This thing has taken too long. Our people, I don't want another deal behind, I don't know what it is. But no individual, you cannot create, I don't want to call it brokers, but you cannot create another layer between us and our tenants. The tenants pay rent directly. There's no tenancy agreement that recognizes an association. These associations were formed by the county to make things easier, not things more difficult. You know, so Chair, that one, under no uncertain terms will we do that. So let me go to specifics. New Pumani, and that's what I was explaining, and the senator came in. Some of it is TPS, tenant purchase scheme. The county government is your landlord. The courts have pronounced themselves, Bonagashago, that the county government can make a determination based on its plan where it sees this thing going. You know, that in the next 20 years, possibly, we need to bring down even those houses and build a hospital. If that is a decision we make through our cabinet, through our whatever processes in the county government, it will be made. People should not be entitled to these houses. Even if I was living in that, if I'm living in a house today that is not mine, it has a landlord, I will listen to what he's saying, so long as I have my rights under the tenancy agreement, whether it is months in lieu of notice, whether it is, now at least since it's public, there's public participation, but I don't think my landlord will give me public participation or any issue. But let us understand that. I know people are emotive about these houses. You've stayed there for long. Your relatives have been there for long, but please understand what the courts, what the law is. There is no obligation by the county or by the law. There is no obligation for you to remain staying there or for those houses to remain as they are. They cannot. And it will be a squandered opportunity for us where we are seeing a place where we can increase housing, we can redevelop the place, not to do it. So, Chair, that is our position as a county government. That has been the position during NMS. That has been the position even before, when urban renewal was started by the city council, the first county government of Governor Kidero, the second county government of Governor Sonko, where the first ones are now to implement, in addition to the two estates that already started, Jivanji and Park, and we will do it, Chair. Number two, I like the question that Senator Wambua, was it Chute, asked about the associations. Some estates have many formations. There's Woodley residents, there's Woodley welfare. Bwana Kashago has been there for a long time. You know, he's 28 years is not a short time, and he has a lot of this history. But always know that for as many assenters you will get dissenters. If as leaders or those of us in executive position would wait for 100% concurrence to execute anything, we would never move, Chair. We would never. The issue of waiver, the rent waiver that was issued at that time in 2019 was actually deemed to be an illegal waiver. There's a city waivers, there's a waivers procedures law. The governor cannot issue a waiver. Even the ones you see where we have our photos on TV and rent whatnot, it says it's actually the CC Finance who is allowed to issue a waiver, and the waiver is for a period and for a reason. So and that one was really targeted at market stalls. You know, the stalls like Kenyatta Market, that the ones which are beyond the TPS stalls. That's what it was targeted at. But what I know, there was an issue with that waiver that was then issued by the governor and the gazettement. Something being gazetted doesn't make it legal. A gazette notice is just a publication. You can gazette something that is illegal. But a gazette notice is a form of informing the public. Yes, gazettement does not give things the force of law. I have been in this house for 10 years. I know what I'm talking about. A sessional paper does not confer ownership. A gazette notice cannot confer ownership. There are only a number of ways through which you get ownership of land in this country. It cannot be an MOU. An MOU does not give you land. It doesn't. There are specific ways. Look at the land laws. Look at the laws of this country that give you land. The title deed of Jericho, Lumumba and Maringo, we have the title deed of 290 acres. What I said we were processing is a reservation for the specific housing projects in the specific areas. So that your JV vehicle, your joint venture vehicle between us and the developer, then holds that particular reservation, or for lack of a better word, let's even say specific